All right, well, we are going live on YouTube as we speak right now. And let me guess everywhere else after I share this. I hope everybody had a great week. It's been a busy one in the world of cord cutting. It's slowed down the last few days. You can definitely see that people are getting close to summer new kind of in August. It's kind of into the summer news cycle, I call it, as you know, everybody tries to get last minute vacations and everything happens. So people really cut back on the amount of news that comes out. But tons of PlayStation View new locals today. So far, I think we're at 35 new locals added. Seems like they're rolling them out right now. I've had people tell me that they are showing up on their mobile app, for instance, but not on their Roku or PlayStation. So that it's very typical in the way that PlayStation View rolls out their locals, that it can take a few days. All right, let's kind of jump in here. If you have a question or a comment, just leave it down below, either on youtube.com/CoreCarsNews over our YouTube page, or facebook.com/CoreCarsNews. Those are going to be the two places that I am looking. There we go. Let me switch over to this. All right, I see myself live everywhere now. Well, it's great to see so many people here. I see the early joiners are just rolling in. Sean, Jimmy, hello. Jason, good to see you here. Look at one thing. All right. And there we go. Bill, I just set you up with the moderator rights. So, a little paperwork. We've been adding in a few more moderators to help filter some of the comments. I put in some additional blocked words. And now, if you try to send a link through YouTube or use a hashtag, it won't work anymore. It gets help for moderation. Brandon, first question of the day. How do you cut the contract if you're on, how do you cut the cord if you're on contract? A little dyslexic moment there. So check that out. Sorry, reading, talking just doesn't work. So how do you cut the cord if you're on contract? Well, that's kind of a math game. You know, what's the cost of the early termination fee? Is it $100? Well, how quickly can you save $100? This came up when my wife and I got married. She was with AT&T, I was with Verizon. We kind of ran the numbers. We were looking at where to go. Verizon ended up being a better deal for us. There was a lot of factors, coverage where we were living, and so forth that went into it. Well, we realized that once she hit the 4-month mark in her contract, it was cheaper for us to pay the early termination fee and move her over to Verizon, and we saved money that way. So you kind of have to do the math, figure out what your break-even point is on that. You have to pay $100, but you're saving $100 a month. You know, do the math. So that's why I recommend. I mean, when you sign a contract, you sign a contract that you agree to do something. There's really no magic bullet to say, I want out of this contract early. So keep that in mind. I'm considering getting the streaming of NFL Ticket. I don't know what NFL Ticket, excuse me, what NFL Ticket streams at. I don't know if it streams at 60 frames per second. They're limited. Their streaming options very limited in who can get that. So I have not been able to test that out. Hello, Alvin. I just set my parents up with cord cutting endeavor. They went with PlayStation View and now have all locals as of today in Tampa. Any word when Jacksonville, Florida may catch up? No. 1 second. Sorry, I just had dinner before I came on, and that's not always a good idea. No, Sony is very poor about communicating when they're going to add locals. For instance, today they added 35. Not a peep from Sony. Sony has not said anything official. We just know about those 35 that have been added because the reader's telling us. So we really appreciate that. You know, tips go a long way. So keep that in mind, that we appreciate that overall. Rose asks, have you heard any feedback from users about DirecTV Now DVR? No, other than that the DVR is live and it's there, that you can now find it, and or with the users can now use it, everything, but they signed a non-disclosure agreement, so hints of it have been very limited. Besides DirecTV Now and Sling and Hulu and PlayStation, is there others? Yes, so there's YouTube TV, only available in select markets though. There is Spectrum's streaming service. Comcast has got one coming out. CenturyLink has one live. There is Fubo TV, which is another good one that's really been stepping up their game. So, but yeah, there's many others out there. Go to Rich. Go to CordCarsNews.com. At the very top of the site is a tab that says Watch Live TV or How to Watch Live TV, something like that. It just says Live TV. Click on that, and it will give you a guide of all the major streaming options out there right now, from the big ones you listed to Fubo and YouTube TV and so forth. I consider again. Oh, I already answered that one. Is the NFL Sunday Ticket for DirecTV users, or is it available to non-DirecTV users? The NFL Sunday Ticket is available to some non-DirecTV subscribers. If you're a student, you can get it streaming, or if you live in an apartment building that doesn't allow dishes to be installed. Past that, they require you to buy DirecTV. There's been a lot of talk. DirecTV's been doing surveys asking people about a streaming service where anyone could subscribe, but they haven't launched that yet. It could still happen this year, but I'm not expecting it this year at this point. Probably a year out from that happening. So keep that in mind that it's coming. Fingers crossed. My friend wants to cancel cable, but they love watching golf. Where would that be possible? I'm pretty sure the golf channel is pretty much on every major streaming service. So Sling, PlayStation View, DirecTV Now, I believe they all have the golf channel. And then NBC, ABC, or excuse me, golf isn't on ABC anymore. It's on Fox, NBC, and CBS. And get an antenna. That's the best way to do it. An antenna and a streaming service like Sling TV or PlayStation View are your best options. Do you think that cable internet providers will squeeze cord cutters with internet only? Spectrum has jacked my rate up 50%. Well, first of all, let's talk about lowering your rate. My number one option is shop around. I'm on Spectrum. I'm paying $29.99 for 100 down. The reason I get that deal is because I was willing to switch to DSL for a year, and then I came back as a new customer. DSL in my area offers gigabyte down speeds. I cut the cord with only 20 down, and you don't need crazy fast speed. I think some people get this idea that you need a gigabyte, 100 down, whatever. You don't need that fast speed. DSL for most people is more than enough to be a cord cutter. Heck, I did it once when I only had 10 down. So first thing I recommend is shop around. Even if you don't want to switch, the ability to say, hey, I know what your competitors are offering, makes it much easier, I should say, to talk them down than just saying, hey, I want a lower price of my internet. As far as, do I think cable providers will squeeze them? Maybe a little bit right now, but 5G is rolling out across the country. We already have it in about 10 markets, AT&T in 2, CenturyLink in 7, and I believe there's another one out there. Don't count me on that, though. 5G is the answer here. Currently, there's one. You're lucky if you have 2, maybe 3 options. Some people only have 1. And it's not always great. But with 5G rolling out, fiber speeds over the air, when you have 10, 9 options out there to pick from, competition is going to force that price down. So keep that in mind. So that's my recommendation is, we're about 2 years from what they promised is 50% of the United States covered with multiple, 5G options for home internet. That'll be the answer. Robert, DSL 7 down will be enough to be a cord cutter. As long as you're limiting yourself to 1 or 2 streams at a time. I cut the cord, at one point had only 10 down. You only need 5 down to stream HD Netflix. So yes, 7 down DSL, not ideal, but it is an option for cord cutting. When is ABC and NBC coming to PlayStation View? Well, it depends where you live there. Some markets have PlayStation View. Just today they added more NBC and ABC affiliates. So that completely depends on where you live. My recommendation is go to PlayStation View's website, put your zip code in, and it will tell you what's there. Robert, yeah, I really do think 7 down. 10 down is ideal. I would recommend at least 10 down, ideally 20. But you can get away with it. You want some cord cutting news shirts. I'd like you to know that mugs like this that everybody's been asking for and t-shirts are in the works. Spencer asks, I hear that Hearst is adding PlayStation View stations on NBC. What about my Greenville, Asheville, North Carolina? Well, first of all, I'm going to be in that general area soon, so check it out on Friday. I'll be flying into the Greensboro area. But as far as that, from what I'm hearing is they're rolling them out now. We spotted that before they made it official and made it live to everybody. So hopefully the next 24 hours you'll be able to see that. Hello, Duke. Hello, Jay. Good to see you guys here. Has Apple announced scheduled any announcements for September? Not that I heard of, though. We probably wouldn't hear about it for at least another week or two if they did. So, fingers crossed. I am expecting a Apple TV or something like that to come out this fall. Yeah. Chip, that is, I spent I'm going back there to visit a camp I used to be a director at, the YMCA camp in the area. Spent many years working out there. I don't know, Paul. Fubo TV just sent out a follow-up email today saying that CW channels will be coming soon. At first they listed it as being live, and now they emailed a second one saying, CW coming soon. I don't know why. Hopefully soon. Any news about Google TV? No, Google TV's dead. Android TV is out there. So shop around. Word is a new device is coming out. We do know a new user interface. A major update to Android TV is coming soon. Past that, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. What's your thoughts on 5G wireless internet availability in the near future? Very good. Sounds like next year it'll start rolling out in many towns. It's currently like AT&T has it in Indianapolis and Austin, Texas. It is available like with Verizon in towns like Ann Arbor, Michigan. And they say by 2020 it'll be available in 50% of the United States. Dish, Google, AT&T, Charter, Verizon, T-Mobile, but T-Mobile says they're not going into home internet. The other ones say they're going to the home internet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. T-Mobile was kind of weird. They're like, we're bringing it to phones. And then they kind of like mocked Verizon's plan to bring it to home networks. It'll be interesting. But Verizon seems to be very committed to this. They're rolling it out. They're spending $1 billion with a B dollars to run more fiber to cell phone towers around the United States in anticipation of 5G data load requirements. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right. Any recommendations for hooking up an over-the-air antenna so far? Can you connect multiple amplifiers? No, I would not recommend connecting multiple amplifiers there, Michael. I would recommend the ability that you should go and put your antenna as high as possible. Go to antennarecommendations.com, enter your address, look at the bottom. Below the channel results will show a map of where all the locos are around you, all the transmitting towers. And that'll give you an idea of where to focus your antenna. That's my recommendation. Have you heard anything about Showtime pay-per-view for the fight? Jimmy, yes. So the big fight here in a few weeks, the Mayweather fight, they did announce a couple of details. So Showtime has a new pay-per-view streaming service there. The UFC app will stream it pay-per-view. And Sling TV announced today that you will be able to get it through Sling TV. So you can, they're all pay-per-view. You got to pay for it, but those are your options to stream that fight. Paul says Roger Lynch, the CEO of Sling TV, is jumping ship to become chief executive of the online music company Pandora. Yeah, I was one of the earlier ones to report that. I had the opportunity to meet Roger Lynch not that long ago. He's a really great guy. I was really impressed with how he handled Sling TV overall. I thought he did a very good job with that. It's always hard to be the first company. Often the first one through the glass ceiling or the glass door or whatever you want to call it has the toughest hurdle there. They have to convince other companies to work with you to sign these contracts for something new. Other companies got to see the success of Sling TV, and then they went out there and they were able to create better deals because people already saw the success of it. So it doesn't surprise me From my understanding, Roger Lynch has been CEO of Sling for 4, probably 5 years now almost. As best I can tell, he took the reins of that project over 2 years before the official announcement went live and the service went public. So it wouldn't surprise me. He did a really good job running that Pandora would jump in and say, hey, we like what you're doing with Sling. Here's a bunch of money. Come save Pandora. Pandora's struggling a little bit right now. And maybe he was ready for a change after doing the same thing for 5 years. So, wish him the best. We'll have to wait and see what Sling TV does. I did see that Sling TV is having their Dish CEO also be the Sling TV CEO. I think that is a temporary arrangement. From everything I can tell from talking to sources over at Sling, Roger was the one that announced it, gave his 2-week notice to the company, and I don't think they wanted to rush out and just find any old replacement. I think they're going to do a very thorough, exhaustive search to find a new CEO at Sling. So I think the Dish executive is just an interim person there to temporary arrangement. So we'll have to wait and see who's Sling TV hires as the new CEO. Question: Mohu Airwave or Clearstream TV, which one's better? It's hard to say because I haven't been able to test the Airwave. The Airwave won't come out for another 2 weeks about-ish. So we'll have to wait and see. The Clearstream TV is nice. I wish it streamed outside the home. Currently it's limited to inside the home is the only thing. Let's wait and see what we get when the Mohu Airwave comes out. I did get to play with it at CES. I was impressed. Good company. Nice people there. I think it's a nice product. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like when it goes live. All right, let's dive in here. Who with live TV versus DirecTV Now? Thoughts, or would you recommend something else? That depends on what you want. They both have slightly different channel packages. If you're an AT&T Unlimited customer, DirecTV Now starts at $10. That's a hard deal to beat. If you're a Hulu customer already, $32 you can add Hulu onto that. Hulu Live. It's not a bad service. Both of them I think are good. I'm not as big of a fan of the Hulu app as I am of the DirecTV app. I like the grid style a little bit better. Though Hulu's made a lot of improvements there. I like the fact that they took the channel list and put it right on your home screen instead of having to dig down a few levels. So, take a look at both Hulu and DirecTV Now. They both offer free trials. See which one you like. Is it worth buying your own modem? Yes. Comcast charges $120 a year for a modem that you could probably buy for $60. Even if you have to buy 2 modems in a year, it's break even. So highly recommend it with the ability to get your own modem. Everybody, if possible, should get their own modem. Why do you think the CBO owned operated stations added on DirecTV Now in markets like New York went? I'm assuming you mean when, Spencer, do you think that will happen? I don't know. I expect in the next week or two that CBS stations will start appearing on DirecTV Now. That's just an educated guess, though, Spencer. Don't hold me to that. That's just seeing everything else happen. The time frame for when Fubo announced it to this was almost 2 months from when they went live. But I expect it maybe to come a little quicker. Colin asks, if Hearst adds an NBC affiliate that has a ABC station as a sub-channel, will we get both? No, because they have to sign a contract for both. You can't just get all the stations with one deal. So, for instance, Hearst owns both ABC and NBC stations. So, PlayStation View, DirecTV Now, etc. needs to strike a deal with both, with Hearst first for NBC and then Hearst first for ABC. And there's quite a complicated process involved with that. To get with it, so keep that in mind. Robert, review of Filmstruck. That's a good idea. Keep an eye on it. I'll see if I can do one soon. Hey, real quick, I see we got a ton of people here. First of all, if you are not following us on Twitter, at Court News and youtube.com/Court News. We just hit 15,000 followers on YouTube, and we're getting close to 16,000 on Twitter. I'd like to really push that. So if you want to be a big help, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube. We would really appreciate it. So check that out. Also, if you want to donate $1, patreon.com/corecarsnews. We would love your support, $1 or $2, whatever you want to do. It really adds up. Chris, you're right. Big Ten Network's on PlayStation View, YouTube TV, DirecTV Now, Hulu. Is the Big Ten Network on Fubo TV? Somebody help me. I think the only streaming service that doesn't have the Big Ten Network right now is Sling TV. And again, that kind of goes back to my earlier conversation. Sling TV was the first one through when they were making these deals. A lot of the streaming rights that Sling TV has now are streaming deals they made when they first launched the service 2 years ago. You know, people had no idea what, you know, Sling TV, live TV streaming would be, and companies were a little hesitant to give deals. So Sling is kind of in a tough spot as they're trying to wait for their contract renewals to come up so they can get a redo on that and get channels like Big Ten Network, I would expect. Angela, that probably means you've been picked. I would check your email. You may not. You may be in a future though, a future add-on. So you have to wait and see. Chris, when is YouTube TV going on Roku or Fire TV? We don't know that. They have said nothing about plans to add it to other devices. YouTube has really said that they believe that phones and tablets are the future. So everything they're going to do is going to be here first and go to devices second. I think that's a major mistake. Could they change their mind on that? Yeah. I hope they do. I think that'll be a good move for them. So we'll have to wait and see. Why is Hulu Live TV not on PC web despite Android and Amazon Fire Stick be on Amazon Fire Sticks? Spencer, they have said that browser support will come in the future. Right now, it looks like Roku support is going to be next up. I have been playing around with their beta app. It's very nice. It looks like it's getting close to going public, so keep that in mind. Do you think DirecTV Now will charge for DVR? You know, no way to know. Just no way to know. We'll have to wait and see. Any idea if CW will ever be available on streaming services? Yes, so Fubo TV is adding it. I want to say Hulu has one market with CW, but Fubo TV announced that they're adding like 10 or so CW networks. All right, what do you think about the CenturyLink streaming service? You know, Tony, I tried to sign up for it and error. Wouldn't accept any of my Gmail or my work email accounts. Even my Yahoo account, it wouldn't accept as an email address. And after talking to the support, you know, no luck. I reached out to the PR people. I was like, hey, I want to do a review of your service. They're like, talk to support. We can't help you. So I've been unable to create an account for CenturyLink. It has been a couple weeks since I last tried. Maybe I need to try again, but I was not impressed with the customer service. I was not impressed at all with my attempt to review their service. They basically said, tough luck, we can't help you. Oh yeah, DirecTV Now is also saying they're adding the CW network, but they have not said when. When will more markets be added to YouTube TV? We don't know. They have not listed any other than a general vague statement that they intend to add more local or more markets at a future date. So we'll have to wait and see. You know, yeah, Robert, I think the idea that people want to watch long-form TV on phones and tablets is kind of oversold. Yeah, you may do it on traveling. I think there's a big disconnect in the idea that I watch a 5-minute YouTube video on my phone, but I don't want to watch a 2-hour video. I'm trying to remember where I posted about this on my site recently. There was a study that came out that said even millennials, even teenagers, when it comes to TV and movies, long-form entertainment, prefer watching it on a big screen TV. My teenage daughter, we had an exchange student live with us for a year. She's 16, and she watched everything on the TV. She's 16. She wants to be out on her phone, you know, texting and talking to her friends, and then she with the TV running. And I'm kind of the same way. I want the big screen going, and I want my phone to surf and do all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, I do agree with you that big screen's still the place to be. I think YouTube TV is making a huge mistake in rolling out their service. I agree with you, Dean. YouTube TV, by only being in a handful of markets right now, is allowing Sling and PlayStation View and DirecTV Now to grow in all the areas where they're not, which means when they do launch in those markets, they have a much harder uphill battle because people are not waiting. They're not saying, oh, I'm away for YouTube TV. There's too much competition now with Hulu, DirecTV Now, PlayStation Vue, Fubo, CenturyLink, Spectrum, list goes on and on. I'm not waiting. I'm just signing up for another service. And when it comes out, I may switch, but more than likely, if I'm already happy where I am, I'm not going to switch. And I think that's the mistake Fubo or YouTube TV is making. You know, they should go national and add locals like everybody else is doing. See, you are correct. The CW does offer a Roku app that's 100% free and adds the episodes the next day. All right, so keep the questions coming. I think I may have missed a few. Feel free to re-ask. We're getting close to about 200 people watching according to the stats I'm seeing. So it's kind of flooding, a little bit of a flood out here right now. So if I missed your question, please re-ask it. I'm trying to change things up here. All right. Who has the best sports package for college football, NFL games? That kind of depends a little bit. Which teams you want. NFL is probably Sling TV or PlayStation Vue because they're the only two with the NFL ticket or NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. PlayStation Vue has the Big Ten Network. Sling TV has the Pac-12 Network. So kind of depends on what sports you want. If you're a Pac-12 fan, Sling TV is going to be the service for you. If you're a Big Ten fan, the PlayStation Vue is going to be the service for you. So depends on which one you want. Just check them out. They both offer free trials. See which one you like. Colin asks, when is the DirecTV Now DVR going live for all users? This fall. Sometime this fall, it'll be available to everybody. Rick says, I tried the CenturyLink streaming service. The guide is very confusing, but it does work. Canceling the service is very hard. To cancel, you have to go to each of your plans and click on the information icon and then click on cancel. Oh. Learn something new every day. Yes, DirecTV Now does have a lot of people are throwing out that DirecTV Now and Fubo and others have like Big Ten Network. The reason why I only listed Sling TV and PlayStation Vue is because he also asked about NFL, and those are the only two that have the NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. So keep that up. And also, like Bill points out, if you want to watch some free college football, go to Court Cars News. I put a post up there today, maybe on page 2 now. We've had a lot of news today. And there's a ton of free services coming out to watch college football. Mostly the smaller networks like Conference USA, Mountain West, etc. But still some really good deals out there. Craig, I don't understand what CW is doing with the puppy cam. I think they're trying to promote puppy adoption. You know, Derek, that whole PlayStation or DirecTV Now is getting the NFL Network soon rumor has been going around. I've had DirecTV Now reps tell me it's not happening on their chat, and I've had reps tell me it is happening. I think what people need to remember is the fact that chat reps, I think, are graded by how quickly they turn people over, how quickly they get to the next person to help. And they're willing to say anything if they think that it's going to get you off the chat. So just don't take those chat people. I've had them just frankly lie to my face. Any word on when Sling TV is going to add the MLB network? Probably not this year, hopefully next year. It's kind of like I was talking about earlier. You know, Sling TV was the first one through. They got to wait for a lot of their current contracts to end before they can launch and make new ones. So I would expect Sling TV to continue to improve. And they've been doing a good job. They've been steadily adding new features, new channels, and I like where Sling is going. I love the fact that, you know, PlayStation Vue, Sling, DirecTV Now, Hulu, all this, they're all racing each other, fighting each other, and we are the winners of this. With Sling TV and PlayStation Vue, they're all racing for locals and features and app support. Just means that cord cutting is that much better. So I hope that they all keep fighting. Have you heard anything about Viacom coming back to Vue? Probably not. I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. It sounds like, Viacom and View both kind of walked away from that. Viacom, I think, is at fault here. They wanted way too much for their channels, and Viacom has made it kind of clear that, hey, we want to do everything we can to promote traditional cable TV because they make more money there, and they're talking about launching their own streaming service, and they want to make more money from that. So I would not expect Viacom channels back on Sling TV anytime soon, or PlayStation View, excuse me. Sling TV does have some Viacom channels. Has anyone asked about Stadium and when it's starting? Yes, this month it's supposed to start, and Sling TV will be one of the providers to carry Stadium. But it'll also be free on Twitter and all kinds of other places. Stadium is replacing the Campus Insider channels, and it's going to be a 24/7 network where Campus Insider got folded into Stadium, was not a 24/7 network. It's a pretty nice network. Conference USA, Mountain West, Patriot League games. They promise multiple college football games every Saturday for free. I'm thinking about HD Home Run and Plex Pass. Is it worth the investment? What's the future of Home Run? The future of the HD Home Run, I think, is just fine. I don't expect that to go anywhere. I'm not expecting any issues with that. So I would feel good about that. I think Plex now works with a slew of USB tuners too. That's an option if you're looking for something a little cheaper. I think, just do your research on the Plex DVR, the limitations of it, and what devices it works with, because not all Plex apps will support the DVR feature yet, though it's on the way. So keep that in mind. Rich, I don't understand your question. That's why Apple blacked out. Blacked out what? I'm missing something there. Will Stadium have its own app? I do expect it, but they pretty much, it's going to be on Sling, it's going to be on Twitter, and Twitter's now on pretty much every streaming service. I would expect them to have their own app. I expect them to also team up with maybe Pluto in the future. I could see that happening. Is it Campus Insider or 120 Sports? Weren't they already on Pluto? Maybe I'm remembering this wrong. I expect that to happen. Big Ten Network on Sling TV? No, nothing yet. Hopefully soon. We'd love to have that happen before college football. What's the latest on DirecTV Now DVR? Nothing new. It's in beta. The people who are in the beta signed a non-disclosure, and so far no one's talking about it. What's the hope of the Hulu Movies and Mystery Channel being in more DirecTV Now packages? I haven't heard anything. My recommendation is contact DirecTV Now. Let them know you want it. If Spencer says, I live in North Carolina and my local affiliates do mostly North Carolina news. I want to see South Carolina news. Well, Spencer, if you have a Roku, there's a great channel called News On. It's free, and you can select over 170 plus news channels around the United States. So you can pick one from South Carolina and see South Carolina news. I use that every now and then when I'm getting ready to go visit family in Michigan. I want to see what the weather is. I select my local NBC affiliate is on there from my hometown back in Michigan, and I can watch the local weather before I fly up there. So I'm a big fan of News On. NBA League Pass or NHL Center Ice, I believe, or options for core cards, I believe both can be subscribed to standalone apps. I used to do NBA League Pass, so check that out. Is DirecTV Now scheduled to release DVR in October? They haven't said October. They've just said this fall. Could it happen in October? Yeah. It's very possible. So keep it coming today. And do me a favor. Share with your friends. Hit like on the stories. If you really want to help Court Cards News, hitting like on these videos is helpful. But just randomly, especially on Facebook, if you see a story, just randomly hit that thumbs up button. Facebook is kind of rejiggering their algorithm, and they're putting a huge amount of emphasis on how many people like a story and comment on a story. So if you see a Court Cards News story like on Facebook and you want to help us, just randomly hit that thumbs up. You don't have to do it all the time, but if you do it from time to time, that'll be a huge help to help Court Cards News. The more people who like it, the more people who see it. Josh, I have not seen that email yet. I've just been busy today, so I'll take a look at it. But currently, the only legal way to get NFL Sunday Ticket is to pay, have DirecTV, or be in a apartment complex that won't allow you to put a dish up, or go out there and it was 2 weeks ago. I probably wasn't, but the last legal way is to get a student email address and sign up that way. Eddie knows. They say sometime soon in the next few weeks, CBS stations will start rolling out. I do not know if Atlanta will be one of them. Do you ever think TV everywhere? Do you think TV everywhere things like Tableau TV still popular? I'm assuming you mean the TV everywhere, like the apps where you log in with your like Sling TV or DirecTV Now credentials. Is that what we both talking about? The same thing there? I don't know if I understand that question. Kevin says he just lowered his internet bill $10. You know, may not seem like a lot, but if you think about it, that's $120 a year. That pays for Netflix. You just saved yourself free Netflix for a year there, Kevin. How long will the 10-cent movie from Vudu be in your queue before they disappear? I think when you rent movies on Vudu, you get 30 days to watch them, and then they disappear. So if you want to stock up, buy 3 or 4 movies, you got 30 days to finish them. Not a bad idea. Does Sony plan on updating the PlayStation View app anytime soon? I hate the app format and no guide. I'm assuming you're talking about the Roku version? Yeah, for Roku. No. Sony has never said any plans about adding it to a new version to Roku. Don't know why. Sony, I think, fears Roku a little bit, because remember, Sony makes streaming players too, and I think they may fear that Roku is their largest competitor and beating the living daylights out of them, just to be honest with you. All right, keep those questions coming. Do you think sports blackouts still a controversial issue? Spencer, I think many sports, especially Major League Baseball and others, they've honestly been working hard to eliminate the sports blackout. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. In the future, I expect that sports blackouts become more and more rare. What are your thoughts about every network launching their own streaming services? We don't have premiums, and one DVR, we're under 50. You know, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, everybody wants a la carte. Well, a la carte's on the way. I think there's a lot of undue panic. Oh my gosh, Disney's launching a streaming service. Throw in the towel, cord cutting's over. It's, I'm like, wait a minute. Haven't we been wanting a la carte? Here's Disney saying, okay, you want your a la carte channel? Well, we'll create a streaming service that you can subscribe to in 2019 and get all your Disney content. We don't even know what they're going to charge yet for that. And I kind of find it hilarious, all these doomsday stories. Now, one thing I've learned about news, negativity sells stories. If I can make a negative headline, I'll get a lot more readers than a positive one. So take all this negative press with a grain of salt, because it's rather hilarious. We don't know what's going to be included in the service. We don't know what the price of the service is going to be. But you would think that the cord cutting world had come to an end. So, yeah, keep that in mind. It's rather hilarious that so many people are all nervous about it. I think it's a good thing. Just because there's a ton of services out there, you don't have to subscribe to them. If I could just get a service for only my sports ones, I would do that. Otherwise, everybody's their own. Options. And just because Disney's launching that, remember, Disney still owns part of Hulu. I don't expect Disney to pull their content from Hulu. Jimmy, I don't have any problem with Roku. I use a Roku Ultra or the 2017 Roku TVs, and DirecTV Now seems to be very smooth jumping channels. Luke, I got an email from DirecTV Now saying it's signed in the History channel. Yeah, History and a bunch of other channels were added a couple weeks ago, actually. I wrote a story about that a few weeks ago, but for some reason, late last week, they sent out an email telling all their subscribers that was now available. When is Amazon Video coming to the Apple TV? We don't know. Sometime this summer, so hopefully by the end of September, but it wouldn't surprise me if it misses that date. Do you think the new Android TV could be the Nexus player? I don't know if Google wants to make another streaming player. I wonder if they may want to make a My Box too. We'll have to wait and see. You know, and it may not. Last I heard, it was in testing, and these players get killed. A lot of people are questioning how serious Google is about Android TV. You look at their last press conference and their big Google I/O event. They talked about Chromecast at length and did not say one thing about Android TV. They had a separate event later in the day, much smaller event, where they were like, "Oh yeah, here's a few updates for Android TV." I think a lot of people are wondering how serious they are. So it wouldn't surprise me if they cancel it. But last I heard that there is a player on the way that will at least have Google's blessing if it's not made by Google. All right. Has anyone tried Redbox Beta 1? Anybody out there? Anybody using the Redbox Beta streaming service? Let us know. Colin, I don't see why the MyBox won't continue to get updates to the Android TV. It's an official Android TV player, so it should continue to get updates. Yeah, the NVIDIA Shield is kind of the fastest streaming player of the Android TV models out there. Anthony, picking just between the Mi Box, I know I called it the My Box. I've been since corrected that in China, MI is spelled me, or it's pronounced me. And the Fire TV, I'd go with the Fire TV because it has Amazon Video, and the Mi Box officially does not. Hold on one second. It's kind of a cloudy day here, and it's getting kind of late. I had to turn on a light. So yeah, I would go with the Fire TV. I just think it's a better box. I think the Mi Box is slightly underpowered for 4K. But it's a cheap box, and you're paying for a cheap price. You can get a cheap box. Will DirecTV now be added to Android TV? I don't see why not. I don't know when or why it hasn't happened, but I would assume it will. I haven't totally cut the cord yet because with only being allowed an indoor antenna, the reception being so bad on that, I figured it's best to keep cable for locals. Dean, why can't you have an outside antenna? Two, you may want to shop around for a streaming service. Almost by the day, locals are being added. So, and three, ask yourself, why do you want your locals? If it's for anything but sports, I wouldn't recommend it. Scott, Set TV is not a legal streaming service. Set TV Now is a pirate service. I know they work hard to look legal. They are not. Will DirecTV Now offer a grandfather deal after adding DVR 4K? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of people want to know, what's DirecTV Now DVR going to cost, etc., etc., etc. The truth is, we don't know because they haven't said. And it's possible AT&T doesn't even know what they want to do. They may be still shopping this around, trying to figure it out. So we'll have to wait and see. Jimmy XTV, another pirate service. It's just a pirate service. What do I think the new Amazon Fire TV will be? I think it will include HDR, probably better processor and HDR. Nope, US TV, as best I can tell, is not legal. And no, that argument that's meant for military doesn't hold up. Do you think Roku would shut down XTV? Yeah, Roku seems to be on warpath against pirate services. And they put them all on notice. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Dean says, my manager won't allow me to install an outdoor antenna. Are you in an apartment complex? Because if you're in an apartment complex, I understand that. So, yeah, if you live in an apartment complex, that just is what it is. Shop around for a streaming service like PlayStation View, DirecTV Now, Hulu. They've been adding a lot of locals. Yeah, Jimmy, I do expect that these services, for instance, iStream has been working really hard to say, oh, we're legit, we're legit, we're legit. And then Roku says, well, if you can't prove to us that you're, these streaming services that are using our non-credited channels now, certified channels, I think they're calling them, that we find to be piracy will be removed. And suddenly iStream says, oh, we're going to end Roku support. Yeah, probably not a legal service. Yeah, Dean, the closest thing to an exclusive use area that you could do in your apartment is maybe put one on the porch. You're probably, sadly, it means an apartment. When you're in an apartment, that means you can't put stuff on the outside. I would recommend that new Mohu Glide Leaf. It's like a 65-mile indoor antenna. It's very powerful. Very impressed with it. Probably the best indoor antenna that I've tested. Of all the streaming devices, which one would you rate best? How does an NVIDIA Shield compare? An NVIDIA Shield is a pretty nice device now. It's also the most expensive. You get what you pay for. It's super powerful. And now that they have Amazon Video, it's pretty good. Rokus are by far the easiest to use. Nothing flashy, very straightforward user interface. And there you go. Fire TV is not bad. Apple TV is not bad. They're getting better in their app selection. I used to not recommend the Apple TV because of the poor channel selection. Right now, I wouldn't recommend it because I'm pretty confident in the next few months we're going to get a new Apple TV, and Apple is one of the more expensive ones. So I'd hate to see you go spend $150 on an Apple TV just to have it become obsolete. And Apple does not support their older devices very long. They have the third generation Apple TV devices pretty much stopped getting updates as soon as the fourth gen, and you don't see older apps going or new apps going to the older third gen. So I would not recommend getting the Apple TV right now for that reason. Oh, sorry to hear that internet's out for 12 hours for maintenance. That sucks. That would kill me. But of course I work from home. Do you know it? I know you don't like piracy. Yeah. I don't like piracy. I think it hurts cord cutting. When you use legal services, people see that, and companies go, oh, there are X amount of people out there actually paying for the service out there. And if people are paying for it, we're willing to make services for them. So keep that in mind. Support legal services, and it helps. Eddie, when will PlayStation View or DirecTV Now be added to PlayStation? I'm trying to think, are any other live TV streaming services on PlayStation? I think Sony's only allowing PlayStation View on the PlayStation. Sling's not there. DirecTV's now not there. I don't think Hulu's on it. Their new one, I don't think is there. Fubo's not on it. Somebody correct me. Is there another live TV streaming service on PlayStation? Makes you wonder if Sony's blocking them, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Is DirecTV Now still scheduled to release a DVR in October? They haven't said October. They've said fall. It could be as early as October. End of fall, maybe. Any details about AMC's new streaming service? No, they have not said any details on that. All right, so is DirecTV Now thinking about offering an extra stream in their service? They did do a survey asking people what they wanted more, DVR or an extra stream, and a few other questions. So it's very possible. It seems like they're definitely considering adding one. We have about 10 minutes left, and I need to wrap this up. I still have to upload some posts for tomorrow, do some laundry. Wednesdays are my crazy day. 6 a.m. and it's now almost 8 p.m. my time. So I've been working the whole time. But I got a lot of good stories for tomorrow. So check the site tomorrow. A lot of fun stuff happening tomorrow. But do me a favor, if you can and you haven't, follow us on YouTube. YouTube.com/CoreCarsNews. We just topped 15,000. We're really pushing to get more subscribers there. Same with Twitter. We're getting close to 16,000 Twitter followers. So follow us at CoreCarsNews on Twitter and YouTube.com/CoreCarsNews. Tell your friend. Facebook is great too. But we're pushing these two. We really like to get our subscriber count up there. So if you got a question, keep it coming. Do you have any information on Hallmark Now? No, past the announcement that we posted about a few weeks ago now, I think it was, that Hallmark is launching a streaming service. When you read it, it sounds just like Feeln. So Hallmark already has a streaming service called Feel, Feeln, Feeln, that is almost word for word what the new Hallmark Now service is. Even the pricing is very similar. It just Hallmark is slightly more expensive. So it sounds like we're getting a name change and a slight price bump in from Hallmark. You know what is funny about that MoviePass, Mike? I wrote about MoviePass over a year ago. Go to corecarsnews.com, type in MoviePass, go back a year. And I wrote about that service over a year ago. It's been around for almost 2 years. And now, though, they just did a major press push on it. And everybody's talking about it. So I don't get why everybody is out there why suddenly now it's a big news. It's kind of one of those groupthink, they release a press release, CNET runs the story, and everybody's like, oh, we have to talk about this now. When Core Cars News talked about that a year ago. But it is a great service. It's the guy behind MoviePass is one of the co-founders of Netflix. So check it out. It's always been 10. It always starts at 10. One of the things they've done now is they're kind of hiding it. It used to be you used to be able to see what markets if a movie theater around you offered it, for one, and for two, you would be able to see what you get charged. Because if you live in like New York City, you have to pay more than I would down living in Texas. So you may still be living in a market with a $50 price point. Colin asks, what's the longest range antenna? Indoor, I think the Mohu Glide Leaf is the best indoor antenna for long range. Outdoor, the Clearstream V4 is more of a directional one. I really like that. So the V4 from Clearstream. When is DirecTV Now Q&A live? Jimmy, I don't know off the top of my head. It's somewhere in the next week or so. I'll be posting about it again soon as we get close. Go to corecarsnews.com, type in DirecTV Now Q&A, and you should see a story pop up explaining all that. Let me make myself a note to remind everybody as we get closer. Yeah, just made myself a little note. When do you think we can cut the cable modem cord and just go straight 5G in the house with AT&T or Verizon? They say by 2020, over half the United States will be covered. And if you think about it, AT&T, Verizon, Dish, Charter, Google, T-Mobile are all doing it. They're not all going to cover the same 50%. So probably by 2020, in the next 2 years or so, you should have that ability. It very well may be on the 23rd, Colin. So many things to keep track of. I can't remember. Yep, August 23rd. Everybody's saying it's the 23rd for when that DirecTV Now Q&A is. I'll post again about it as we get closer. I know I wrote a story about that about a week ago. And I'll post again to remind people as we get closer. Yeah, it is a daytime Q&A because they don't want to work late. Unlike me, they're not willing to work past 5. I work past 5 every day. Do you think Hulu will be available on Roku before college football starts? Very possible. I have the Hulu Roku app with their live feed. It's very impressive, very stable. So I'm hoping soon. Yeah, 5G should come to the Maryland, Pennsylvania area. Exactly when, I cannot tell you. But they say over half the United States by 2020. That's all I can say. And the reason why they say that, just to be clear, is when they bought the spectrum from the FCC put a requirement that they had to be over half the United States by sometime in 2020. I think it's late in 2020. So keep that in mind. All right, so I think I've answered everybody's question. Last call if I missed your question, because there's a lot of people, especially on YouTube. A lot of people on YouTube today, so keep that in mind. No, everybody's asking, when is it coming to my area? I don't know when 5G is coming to your area. All I know is they say by 2020, or half the United States will have 5G. All right, so last call for any questions. Anything about WWE, Raw, SmackDown going to the WWE Network Live? Very possible. I haven't heard anything about that, but it sounds like WWE is trying to push more and more stuff into the WWE Live. I remember WWE Network live streaming, that subscription service, was one of the first major sports networks to say, cable is great, but we're going to go our own way, and it seems to be doing pretty well for them. All right, so I think we're going to wrap this up here. A few minutes early. I got a lot to do today. Do you know if Denver NBC affiliate will be added? It should be at some point. I would expect it to be, but I don't know when. Red Zone and DirecTV Now? No, they haven't said anything about that. Could it happen for the season? Possible. So let me just be clear. I don't know when your local is going to be added to a streaming service, and I don't know when 5G is coming to your area. I wish I did. I really do, because I would love to know that. But keep an eye on Court Cars News, because when I find out about it, I will post about it. So I hope everyone has a great day. Have a good night. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern every week for a Q&A. Tell your friends, please tell your friends about what we do here. It would mean a lot to us if you would do that. And we're going to continue to do our best to give you the best cord cutting experience out there possible. If you want to help us, hit the thumbs up every now and then. It really is a big help to us. Any last questions, let me know. I am going to do a quick ad over on YouTube because it pays the bill. Please watch. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great week. Check back on the site tomorrow. Lots of breaking news coming up. We're going to continue to do our best to give you the best cord cutting coverage possible. So take care. I'll see you next week. For our YouTube friends, I see the ad is still playing. A few people may still be seeing me because you're a YouTube red or just aren't one of the lucky people who get to see that. We'll hang out here for another second, and please subscribe. If you're new to this channel, subscribe. Check out our videos, our how-to guides, our reviews, all things cord cutting. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.